And welcome to On Cue. I'm Michael Bartley. Do a good turn daily. That's an expression most often associated with the Boy Scouts. Well, tonight we have the story of a boy whose good turn has turned into so much more. What started as an Eagle Scout project for a young man from Findlay Township is now getting national attention, and no wonder. People in countries far from Pittsburgh are now getting a little gift from a local kid who started Hat Tricks for Humanity.
Look for the hat trick, a shot, he scores! Sidney Crosby with his third career hat trick, and the Penguins lead it 4-0.
A night out in Pittsburgh doesn't usually find teenage boys.
If it's half and half, it's dark.
At the laundromat.
This one with the gray band is darks. I'm a pro at this. Did you guys spray down that? So let's wash these things.
But here they are washing hundreds of hats, and they've got the world's most famous hockey player talking about it.
That's a pretty productive idea, and he's obviously thinking of other people there.
Well, the story of these hats used to end here on the ice at Mellon Arena as they were gathered up for the trash. But let's back up to when it all started. Because just like a hat trick in hockey, a story and a kid like this don't come along very often.
Got one on, Mark, one on!
It's just so much fun and such an active, fast sport, and that's probably my favorite thing about it, that it's so fast and fluid and anything can happen.
That's Mike Behme, number 64 on West Allegheny's freshman hockey team.
I've been playing for 5 or 6 years, so it's really become a part of my life.
Part of his parents' life, too. Like all hockey moms and dads, they're in the stands.
Take the shot, shot.
Mike's younger brother, Mark, is also on the ice. His sister, Christy, plays, too. And as you can imagine, this hockey family loves their hometown team.
We just went crazy when they won the cup.
1, 2, 3, West End!
Mike is unlike any other 15-year-old I've ever met.
Yo, Mike, in front!
I mean, he's a great, intense, emotional hockey player, and that's what you look for in hockey players. And he takes it very seriously. Nice breakout pass, all right?
Honors classes, straight A's, class president. Mike wants to go to Princeton, wants to be a doctor, and he's a Boy Scout, too.
I do campouts a lot on the weekends.
Mike is with Troop 830 out of Clinton, just west of Pittsburgh.
A lot of people have the incorrect preconceived notions that Boy Scouts are like dorks and they really don't do anything else.
But unfair labels don't worry this Boy Scout. Mike set his sights on the highest rank, Eagle. Only 2% of Scouts ever get there because of the tough requirements, which include a highly organized community service project.
Every Eagle Scout has to do a community service project. Mike's is a little out of the ordinary. Usually we get the kids who want to build something.
All right, change it up.
Mike's project would be guided by his love of hockey and his question, what happens to all those hats after a hat trick in hockey?
Look out. Now Malkin steals it. Shannon goes down in the dust. Malkin to Crosby to Malkin. He scores!
A hat trick is when one player scores 3 goals in a single game. It hardly ever happens, and when it does,
And the hats rain down here at Mellon Arena.
It's obviously quite an accomplishment for the player.
fans honor the player by throwing their hats onto the ice.
It started, 50 or 60 years ago, and Mike comes to mind pretty quick now when we score a hat trick.
I needed to do something for my Eagle project.
Mike's first step, he went to the Pittsburgh Penguins to find out about the hats.
So I just wasn't sure what they did with them.
And was told quite simply,
they just get thrown away.
Mike's idea, save the hats, send them to people in need. The Pens had thought of other options like putting the hat trick hats on display at the arena. But would the Stanley Cup winning, marketing savvy Pittsburgh Penguins consider the suggestion of a 15-year-old?
His idea was better.
And so began Mike's Eagle project, Hat Tricks for Humanity. He now goes to the arena after every hat trick, collects the bags filled with hats, loads them in his mom's car, and takes them home. First, the hats are counted and sorted in the family's garage.
4, 5.
About 200 hats in this batch alone, and the work is only starting.
Okay, how many hats in the last bag?
49.
Hats have to be sanitized. So Mike organizes wash parties. He and his fellow scouts take over the local laundromat, spray down the hats with disinfectant, then load them up for a wash in hot water.
Fit as many in here as possible.
Now they have it all down so much that it's kind of just a routine for them.
But what isn't routine is a walk through the Behme household. The hats have to air dry, so they're lined up down this hallway, around that corner, all over these rooms. Mike's goal was to collect 2,500 hats.
I thought there'd be no way we'd get that many hats.
It's now 4,100 and counting.
And then it just started snowballing, and we got interest from Mike's hockey friends, families donating hats, and I thought, we don't have enough room in our house for all these hats. We just, we lived with them.
The Pens logo isn't the only logo you'll see, and ball caps aren't the only style that hit the ice. Mike's gotten fur-trimmed hats, fedoras, straw hats, cowgirl hats, felt hats, and Christmas hats.
We got these from Malkin's hat trick before Christmas. This one is going to Haiti.
After a good cleaning, the hats are packed up for local organizations and schools.
This one is going to Guatemala.
Or shipped to other countries.
This one is also going to Haiti.
People in the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Costa Rica are now wearing hat trick hats from Pittsburgh. Mike even sent some to U.S. troops serving in Afghanistan. Still, there have been skeptics.
A lot of my friends ask me, well, it's a hat. It's not like it's clothing or shoes or anything. I tell them, when you have barely anything and then you get a nice hat from a complete stranger, then tell me how that feels.
And people are sharing their feelings.
Dear Mike, thank you for the hats you donated.
With thank you notes.
Sidney Crosby rocks, so does Fleury.
And photos from all over the world.
Seeing that I have touched the life of somebody that I don't even know is definitely great.
But perhaps a greater moment came one day outside Mellon Arena when Mike and his brother were hauling away hats. This batch was from Sidney Crosby's hat trick 2 nights earlier. And who should Mike run into but Sid the Kid himself?
Dominican Republic, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and some guys in Afghanistan from Pittsburgh too. Great.
Crosby had heard about Mike and took a few minutes to talk about his project.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, we don't really think about kind of what happens to hats after. I think there's always kind of been a lot of talk about what to do with them. He's showing that he's thinking of others and he's thoughtful, and it's pretty creative. We probably all wouldn't have thought of something like that, but it's a good cause.
That was really a privilege. I never thought that I'd get to meet any of the Penguins, and he said it was a good idea, and he was glad that the hats were going somewhere.
Until that next hat trick at the arena, Mike Behme has a lot to think about. School, scouting, his future. Meantime, it's back to the grind. While he's up to his elbows in laundry, this young hockey fan might not know it, but he has a few fans of his own.
I mean, there's a laundry list of adjectives I could use to describe him. Defense! Defense! Very proud that Mike's been able to do something that benefits other people.
What a whirlwind it's been, and how unexpected it all turned out in such a good way.
I mean, most kids that are 15 years old probably aren't too concerned about what's going on in other countries. I hope his undertaking has an impression on other kids his age.
I mean, it's great if we're able to get more and more hat tricks. That's something that he'll benefit from, and many others will too.
Takes the shot, lets it go, and he scores. He blows it by Valaket for the hat trick. Sidney Crosby with his 4th career HT, his 2nd of the year. And look at all the hats raining down here on hat night, Staggy. Yep. And there's going to be a lot of them.
And we'd like to thank the Pittsburgh Penguins for their help on this report, and Sidney Crosby